Welcome to Delivering the Experience. Which framework should we use? But we're not trying to follow SAFe. I thought we were using Agile, or are we a Scrum team, or are we a Kanban team? Yes, so many times we see and we hear in front of our eyes, we witness that we are falling prey to the framework syndrome. Just having that tunnel vision and being stuck within a certain framework that either has been prescribed by someone who's already been in the organization or someone who has come in and to assume a role and they feel that so and so framework will work well for this team without having any knowledge of how the landscape has been and why the teams are doing the work the way they are doing. So just trying to stick to a certain framework for the sake of utilizing a framework, for the sake of the size of the organization or the build-up in terms of hierarchy of the organization. Yes, there are so many organizations that get caught up in this framework syndrome. How to avoid it? Well, the very first thing that organizations can do is to focus on the problem the organization is trying to solve. If an organization has a few projects that are running, say, 6 months to a year behind, those projects have already gone over budget and are already costing the organization millions of dollars. We want to understand what is the problem at hand that the organization is trying to solve. So, trying to identify the symptoms and then trying to unearth the actual problems that the organization is facing. Once we have identified the problem, then we want to start looking at possible solutions. We can have different use cases. Depending on those use cases, we can have different set of solutions recommended. And based on those different set of solutions recommended, we can have those discussions. We can have presentations or conversations with the business decision makers, with the stakeholders involved. Now, there is one thing that we do want to keep in mind. And for this, I'm going to go back to the Manifesto for Agile Development. While we value the things on the right, we value the things on the left more. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Now, this does not mean that processes and tools are not important. What this means is that we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools, why we are finding newer ways, better ways to develop software. So we're not just going to disregard processes and tools. We're going to treat processes and tools with respect, but we are going to emphasize more on individuals and interactions, that collaboration that will help us cooperate, that will help us achieve more in terms of problem solving, in terms of brainstorming, in terms of inspecting and adapting. And utilizing those processes and tools, we will continue to find better ways to develop software. Now, if that means that we use some of Scrum here, maybe we use one or two ideas from Scaled Agile, maybe few of the teams, by virtue of the way they operate, have to go Kanban. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We do not want to be a framework slave. What we want to do is we want to understand what our problems are. We want to help teams understand what different set of solutions are available, what different set of ways we want to move forward. And then we want to have teams decide how we want to move across. Now, there is one thing worth mentioning here. We do want a certain set of organizational standards. Like we want to have a certain way of going about Jira documentation so that there is a certain standard across the board in the organization to document our queries. So that any new Scrum Master, any new product owner, any new dev lead that joins the team, he or she understands those organizational standards as those are part of that onboarding. So coming back to our framework syndrome, We want to understand what the organization needs, and we want to understand, based on that specific need, how we want to treat that symptom. Instead of just for the sake of following SAFE, we are going to follow SAFE. So really, it's all about personalizing the framework to the situation at hand. What kind of challenges your organization is facing? Are you guys stuck in framework syndrome? Please do let us know. Like, subscribe, and share. Till next, thank you for delivering the experience.